In this video, I'm going to talk about stress, its causes, and how to deal with it so that you can implement those tips and tricks into your life to make you a healthier and better person. Because if we think about stress compared to modern society or in tribes, stress is something that is very short and sweet. Stress is kind of something similar to adrenaline. Cortisol, which is the stress hormone, is released from the adrenal gland, which is from the same gland that adrenaline is released from. And cortisol helps trigger your fight or flight response so that when you are hunting or you are being chased by the prey that you were supposed to hunt, and this cortisol gives you extra kind of a boost of muscle strength and cardiovascular endurance so that you can survive to be able to run away from the prey. However, this is only temporary. This is not something that is constantly released. Cortisol is not something that is constantly released into the bloodstream. However, in modern society, it is, because we are constantly subject to stress from our peers, our bosses, from our grades in school, from our parents, from our friends. Like, we're being shouted at by all these people telling us to do these things. You've got to get this done by today. You've got to do this. This releases stress constantly into the bloodstream. And cortisol is only good when it is in short bursts. It increases your blood pressure, which means that more blood gets to your muscles, which gives you better muscular performance. However, if your cortisol is too high for an extended period of time, like it is for many people in modern society, you become ill. There are so many awful symptoms of high cortisol levels in the blood, like depression, anxiety, diabetes, heart diseases, like so many awful things, weight gain. And this is why when people think, oh yeah, stress can literally kill you, they are not wrong. They are telling you the bitter truth. Stress can literally kill you if you are abject to too much stress for an extended period of time, because you are subject to these awful diseases like high blood pressure, heart diseases, weight gain, diabetes, depression, anxiety. All that stuff is caused by high cortisol levels in the blood. And there are other reasons, but this high cortisol levels does definitely cause these awful symptoms, and we want you to be able to deal with these symptoms. And the number one way to deal with stress is to stop procrastinating. Procrastination is the number one cause of high cortisol levels, and this is something that you can be accountable for. You can't be accountable for your boss shouting at you, trying to tell you to do this and do that and do that. However, you can be accountable for actually getting stuff done that you want to get done. Instead of putting off working out for the day, you just get it done, because then when you realize that you've been procrastinating working out by doing other stuff that is pretty much useless, you just start stressing because you're like, oh, why did I skip this workout? I should have just done it. And then the next day you'll go through the kind of same thing because you're procrastinating. And it's the same thing with your business, with your work, with your job. You are procrastinating, studying, and then when the next day comes, you realize, oh, I should have studied yesterday. And this gives you high stress levels for an extended period of time, which gives you the bad symptoms, which means that you could procrastinate more because you are an unhealthier person. It's like a vicious cycle of failure and sadness and mental illnesses and procrastination. It's sad and it's awful, and we want to let you escape this vicious cycle. And yeah, the way to do it is to stop procrastinating, because procrastination is like a psychological kind of phenomenon where you put off doing things by doing other things that seem useful but actually aren't. Procrastination would be, instead of working out, you would start hoovering your room, which is actually a clean room, because you think it's a necessary thing, but it's actually not useful to you and doesn't benefit you at all. That would be a quick definition of procrastination. And to stop this, you just need to not do anything. You don't procrastinate. And to solve this, you just have to not do anything. Instead of not working out and tidying your room, you literally just stare at your wall and stand there, or sit on a chair and sit there and do nothing. And eventually your stress levels will increase as it tells you that you need to work out because you're unhealthy or you're fat. And because you're not procrastinating yourself, distracting yourself with things that you think are useful, like scrolling, binge eating, binge drinking, partying, all that kind of stuff that is distracting you. Instead of doing that, you are doing nothing, and your stress levels will increase while you're doing nothing, which is, I know it seems weird, but your stress levels increase because you know that something needs to change, and you're not doing it. And then because your stress levels are increased dramatically, you will eventually start to work out. And then, boom, you've almost solved procrastination because you just sat there. You've not replaced what you were supposed to be doing with something, but you've replaced it with nothing. And then eventually you will get it done. And eventually you turn that into habits, and you won't need to sit there and do nothing for 10 minutes before you actually go to work out, because it'll be something that you enjoy at that point. It'll be something that you look forward to the whole day. And the second way to stop kind of stress, dealing with stress, is the common relaxation techniques. And this is similar to doing nothing, but it's separate from getting yourself to do the right things. And meditation and journaling, which are these relaxation techniques, is something separate from sitting there and doing nothing so that you can actually get working out and other stuff done. Meditation and journaling is stuff that you can do in the mornings, in the evenings, whenever you choose, to ease your mind from the stresses that are constantly put upon us in modern society. And I do a video on journaling which kind of explains what to actually put in your journal, because many people are often misled and consider journaling as something that's basically similar to a diary, and you just write down what you do every day instead of actually doing a deep and personal reflection, which I talk about in my other video, which will be in a card in the top right hand corner. And meditation is a simple but slightly complicated and difficult process where you just relax for once. A bit like sitting there and doing nothing. You sit down on the chair and focus on your breathing. You close your eyes, focus on your breathing, and try to not let any negative, stressful thoughts affect your mind at that point in time. I think I will do a video on meditating effectively soon, because it's also something that is seemingly simple but often done wrong a lot in society. And instead of just kind of sitting there and doing meditation, there are a lot of things that you can actually do to use your meditation to benefit your life in many other different ways than relaxation. But yeah, meditation is another really good way to bust stress. And once you solve procrastination and implement these relaxation techniques, your baseline stress levels, your baseline cortisol levels will go down so much so that you don't end up having so many weight gain, depression and anxiety, awful symptoms like that caused from your insane amount of stress. You want to get it down here, which using these techniques, you can do that. And eventually you will not experience these symptoms, and you won't start to procrastinate, because you'll be a healthier person and you'll be able to work out, meditate, journal as a more habitual thing. And that's what we all want. We want to improve our habits. We want to change our habits into bad habits, into good habits. And that's what improves our mental health ultimately. So yeah, I really hope you can use these tips and tricks and to improve your life. And I hope you found value out of the video. I thought it was actually quite an interesting one. And to compare kind of tribal stress to modern stress was something that was quite interesting when I did my research on. And yeah, if you need any other help on dealing with stress or any other topic on self-improvement, my coaching calls are in the link in the description. And subscribe, because I love this community of young tribal men who are willing to improve themselves so much more than they already have. So yeah, have fun and good luck.